In this video we're going to make this donut in Houdini. We start off by adding a tourist. You can play with the setting, it doesn't matter really. It's a non-destructive workflow. We can change it later. So to select the top part, I'm using a group node. The group types it to primitives, and the only thing enabled is keep by normals. And I'm setting the direction. Y is up. So this is Y and it's up, as you can see here. And spread is controlling like how much you want to select. To add imperfection to the donut, you can either use a node bob, as I'm doing here, turbulent noise, and displace along normal, or we have actually an easier option. The other option is to add a mountain node and play with it a little bit. This setting works fine, but I personally prefer the attribute bob. Now to actually select the tops, I'm using a blast node, and you need to have the group name here. So we are selecting here and we are blasting here to removing only the top, and enable delete non-selected. Just to remove a little bit from the inner rim of the donut, I'm using another group called inner rim, and I'm removing them with another blast. So we can actually make this procedural, but for this specific tutorial we're not going to do that. Now we are extruding the model by adding a poly extrude, and we are outputting the packs, so we have a full model. Now we are converting to VDB, adding a node called VDB from polygon. So you need to know here fill interior, and you need to play with the exterior bond voxels if things start clipping when we convert to voxels like this, to play with it. Here I'm adding a volume vob to add noise to the VDB, and you need to bind each to density, so you get surface bind to density, as you can see surface here. And yeah, so basically it's very simple setup. We have turbulent noise, we're fitting it, and we are adding everything back to density. But please be mindful that position here is blocked to the position here. Now I'm using a VDB reshape to change the shape slightly, and then I'm converting it to polygon. I'm using convert VDB to convert to polygon. So you can either use an attribute vob with a gradient, or you can use something called a lab gradient to add a gradient to the model. And you need to enable lab tools to have the lab node in Houdini. As you can see, it's called Labs Color Gradient. Here I'm merging the donut topping with the base. Now for the sprinkles, I'm repeating the same process as before. I'm using group node so we can select the top part, and I'm using, I have a group name. I'm using the same name to scatter point. And after scattering point, I have copy to point, and I have sphere to copy to the points. Now to set a very specific color, we're using connectivity to get the class attribute, which is giving us an attribute number for each piece. And then I am just getting the range, maximum range value here with attribute promote into a new class called delete, and change new name and check delete original. And then in the color node, I have RAM from attribute, I have the attribute class from connectivity, and I have the maximum range. You can literally just set the number yourself, and you can find it here. You can, as you can see, this is the class, and the maximum number is 290. Then I'm merging everything together. Then I'm multiplying the color by 1.8 just to get the color to be a little bit brighter. So here you have it, the donut in Houdini. Tell me down in the comment if you want a tutorial slightly more advanced, so we can get a little bit more variation, can get a little bit more detail on the geometry. And was this tutorial easy or hard? Was it harder than Blender or not? So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and bye bye.